Why would the FHA have an anti-flip rule? Why would they block flippers from improving properties and selling them to buyers who are ready, willing, and able and funded to buy them? So the FHA has an anti-flip rule. And that is basically that if the property has changed hands in the last 90 days, you can't use an FHA loan to buy it. Why would they do that? Well, behavioral economics is what comes into play. When you make easy access to money and low interest loans, people will use it. Surprise. Okay, so now you've got a bunch of people who are looking to buy houses. You've incentivized this thing, you've subsidized it, so now it's going to increase. What you subsidize, you increase. What you tax, you decrease. So when you subsidize home buying, there is more home buying. When lots more people have $7 in the bank as a down payment for a house, guess what? They can go buy a house because you've made low down payment. Low interest means they're much more affordable, so they can buy a much more expensive house and have lower payments so that people can just bid up the price. Guess what happened when the government lowered interest rates to like record lows? And there was COVID and they started dropping money in bank accounts. And they have FHA with like 3.5% down payments. You have a bunch of people sitting around looking at houses, dreaming, and they're like, I can afford that. I can afford that. I can afford that. I have easy access to money. So you've incentivized people to go buy more houses. Well, why do you think people were bidding way over asking price? Because they had easy access to money. It really didn't matter. It wasn't any skin off their back. So you had these bidding wars for houses, and everybody in the U.S. market has seen and felt this, and it was insane. It was stupid. I bought a house for 290,000 4 years ago. Stupidly, it's worth 400,000. I'm blessed to have it, I suppose. But the market did this stupid thing. It's behavioral economics. So when you do stuff like that and people are just ready to spend money, spend money, spend money, you also have other people who are like, I see the opportunity. I can feed into that frenzy. And so you have people buying houses for cash, basic lipstick rehabs, fix and flip, buy it at 100K, put 10 grand into it, sell it at 170K. Stupid, because you can't use FHA funding for a house that won't pass inspection, so they have to get it up to inspectability, and then there's a bidding war. So you've created this moral hazard where you've incentivized something, and now you've got the drawbacks. It's like when I believe it was India, they started paying for every dead cobra you could turn in because they wanted to reduce the cobra population. Right. Well, what happens? You've got enterprising individuals who started raising cobras so that they could kill them and bring them in for money. Government does a great job at a lot of things. Psych. So they've incentivized this action, but the behavioral economics are you've created this incentive for people to do this thing. You've incentivized people to buy houses with little regard to how much money needs to go into it, to actually saving money, to actually evaluating. You made it too easy, so you've increased the demand exponentially. Therefore, the supply, which gets short, means hey, when there's a supply shortage, anybody who can contribute to that can make money, 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 money. So they impose this anti-flip rule to kind of slow that down. They don't want people getting in doing a lipstick rehab, making 75K profit, and then the government basically backing the loan for this profiteer over here. That wasn't their objective, but that's behavioral economics. They wanted to incentivize more people to buy houses. Now, FHA loans, when I read the statistics, 1 in 4 goes into foreclosure. That's pretty sucky. And guess what happens when you incentivize irresponsible people who can't put together any savings and have no skin in the game to buy houses? They go do it. And then guess what? 1 in 4 of them goes into full default. That's the nature of it. So they've encouraged people to buy houses. They've also unwantingly encouraged people to be super profiteers in this feeding frenzy that they've created over here. And so they're like, slow down, get back, get back. That's the FHA anti-flipping rule. And that's why it's in place is they're trying to fix the problem that they created. But the bottom line is if a property has changed hands in the last 90 days, it's not eligible for FHA financing. And that's why. Oh, by the way, the Cobras, once they realized the error of their ways is that they had incentivized people to raise cobras, the very thing that they were trying to get to reduce the population of, and they just stopped paying for cobras. Well, now what are you going to do? You got a bunch of cobras in your house. I suppose I would kill them, but people just let them loose, which made the problem worse than it was before they started the whole program. And that's kind of how the housing market has gone in the United States with the low interest loans and the easy access to money and the stimulus packages and whatnot. It's just you've created this moral hazard where it's way too easy for people to do really risky stuff with where they don't have to really pay the price. So that's what I think about that. But alas, there is hope for flippers and rehabbers and wholesalers. We have ways to get around it. Reach out to Creative TC if you have a deal that you can get into and resell on the MLS. We can make it happen.